Thanks for coming by. I'm sure you're very anxious to get out on track. It's taken a lot of effort to get to F1. Congratulations. But the real work starts now. This is...
Claire, motorsports journalist. Nice to meet you. You'll be seeing quite a lot of me throughout the season. So, you had a pretty impressive junior career. How are you feeling about your move into F1? Do you think you have what it takes?
Let's save the questions for a proper interview, shall we? I'm sure you'll have a lot more to talk about once there's been some action on track. I think we could fit you in after FP1 if you're free.
That works for me. I'll grab you the second you finish on the track.
Remember, the relationship you have with the team can be affected by what you say to the media. So be careful. Anyway, it's time to catch up with Carl. He's waiting for you in the data center. Good luck out there today.
Welcome to the data center. Here, we've got access to all kinds of information, including car telemetry, weather, lap times, tyre wear, the list goes on. Plus, we've got a direct link back to the factory, so we're in constant communication with the team there. We need you to regularly feedback about areas of the car that are lacking and help us direct our resources in the most productive way. More effort here equals a quicker car, so it's well worth the effort. Good luck this season. Oh, and make us all look good, okay?
Welcome to your new team. Toro Rosso are famed for nurturing promising talent and kickstarting the careers of exciting drivers, from Vettel to Sainz to Ricciardo. But they're much more than that. This is a strong team that expects regular points finishes. Here you can see the pertinent details about your current contract. On one side are the objectives and bonuses that we've negotiated with the team. On the other is information regarding how you're perceived throughout the paddock, your reputation with the current team, and your overall value to them, which is a combination of these elements. Winning rivalries is a great way to earn respect from your team and around the paddock, which will help make it easier to negotiate favorable contracts. Your first rival is always your teammate, but you can choose who to declare as your second. The harder the rival from the eligible selection, the more respect you stand to gain or lose depending on the result.
We're about to join the action in what is sure to be an interesting practice session here in Melbourne. It's not long until we get the session underway and we'll have some cars appearing out on the track. A warm welcome once again to the man standing beside me in the commentary box for this session, Anthony Davidson. Hello, Ant. Excited to get underway?
Yeah, absolutely. I always look forward to seeing the cars get out there on track. They probably won't be on the limit immediately, of course. We know that one or two of the teams are looking to do some work on new aerodynamic packages, so that always takes some time to get into. But it'll be really interesting to see later on in the session what kind of performance gains are there to be found.
quick look at the classification at the end of the session then. Here are your top three: Raikkonen, Vettel and Daniel Ricciardo. Practice times are on the board then, but no points are on offer just yet.
The fans really seem to enjoy that. You made it look easy. It's been a lot of hard work, but here you are making your debut in Formula. So how are you finding things at the team? Are you What are you expecting out of this season? Are you just... Great! Well, that's everything.
Welcome to Melbourne, where qualifying for the Australian Grand Prix should be getting underway shortly. This is the kind of track that eats rear tyres for breakfast, or so I'm told by more experienced drivers than myself.
No matter how good a driver is at managing their throttle application to limit rear slip, they can't always overcome a car that's inherently bad at looking after its rear tyres. Here we have a lot of low-speed corner exits, which means a whole load of energy, heat and tyre wear.
Nice job.
As we wind down from the excitement of qualifying, here's a look at your top three: Vettel, Hamilton and Daniel Ricciardo. It's time to leave for now, but we'll be back tomorrow when the Grand Prix itself gets underway.
Well done. That was a good qualifying performance.
New drivers, new cars, and a new Formula One season. But it's the same Albert Park that we've come to know and love for more than 2 decades now that hosts the first round of a 21 race championship, taking us from here in Melbourne, Australia, across the globe before we eventually reach the season finale at Yas Marina Circuit in Abu Dhabi. Just south of Melbourne's downtown business centre is the one and only Albert Park Circuit. 3.3 miles of public roads, closed for the weekend of course, make for a bumpy circuit with little undulation. There are 16 corners around the lake and a couple of good passing opportunities here as well, thanks in part to the DRS zones into turns 1, 3 and 13. We have plenty of changes to the sport this year with the addition of new safety features, the return of France and Germany in an expanded 21 race calendar and more tyre compounds than ever before. And of course, we have some big car manufacturers back in the sport too, with Alfa Romeo and Aston Martin returning as title sponsors for Sauber and Red Bull respectively. Joining me to take you through all the action of the 2018 Formula One season is Anthony Davidson. Great to have you with us.
Thanks, Crofty. Always happy to be here. I'm looking forward to getting underway. Last year was Mercedes' 4th Constructors' title in a row, although for the first half of the season, it was absolutely neck and neck with the Ferraris. Hopefully this year we can see the chasing pack take that final step, as I'd love to see a championship contest all the way up to the final race in Abu Dhabi. Another story to keep an eye on is the relative performance of McLaren and Toro Rosso, who have exchanged power unit suppliers this year. And given the additional restrictions on engine components, they need to be strong in terms of both performance and reliability.
We're almost ready to go then, and this is what the starting grid looks like for today's race. Sebastian Vettel has a clear track ahead of him today. He starts in pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Ricciardo, Bottas, Max Verstappen, and Raikkonen, Hülkenberg, Sainz, Magnussen, and Roman Grosjean, Perez, Leclerc, Fernando Alonso, and Ocon, Turner, Van Dorn, Lance Stroll and Marcus Ericsson. Sirotkin and Brendan Hartley rounds off the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track.
Okay, we qualified higher than we were anticipating. Let's see if we can do just as well in the... Okay, our system checks are good. We need to stay in formation and start bringing the car up to temperature, please. Get some load into the tyres and work the brakes. We want them nice and warm by the end of the lap. No rain expected. No rain expected for the time being. Okay, some information on signs. They have some kind of mechanical problem. Okay, we lost the position. Try to keep focus. DRS will be enabled this lap. You can use it when within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone. Okay, good work, great pass. Check your MFD for a new strategy option. Reduce the ERS deployment, please. We need to charge the battery. We're going to box this lap, push hard on the in-lap. We're leading our teammate by 5.7 seconds. Remember, box this lap. Keep an eye on your distance to the speed limit line as you approach, and make sure you don't speed. Go, go, go. Up to speed now. Let's get some heat into those tyres. Brendan is in the pits. Yellow flag. Gap to car in front is 9.9 seconds. The gap to the leader is 29.3 seconds. Gap to teammate behind is 8.5 seconds. Okay, gap ahead is 12.2 seconds. The battery is low on energy. Reduce ERS deployment. We have 5 laps of fuel remaining. Okay, we need some energy harvesting. Reduce ERS deployment. The gap to the car ahead is 13.6 seconds. This is your final lap of the race. We're leading our teammate by 16.3 seconds. Right, some information on Grosjean. They seem to have an issue. Okay, good job, mate. Really well done. That was a fantastic drive.
So, another excellent win from Ferrari. So, Ant, how exactly did they set themselves apart from the pack today?
I think a large part of the result comes down to temperament. They were able to keep their heads when everyone around them was losing theirs, and that's allowed them to get the best out of the car, to maximise the strategy, and to stay out of trouble.
So, here they come now, out onto the podium. Wherever you go, anywhere in the world, the prancing horse flags are dominant in the grandstands, and they're out in force again today. It's Ferrari on the top step once more. And now let's take a look at the drivers' standings. Sebastian Vettel takes the lead of the Drivers' Championship. Now then, Anthony Davidson, who was your driver of the day?
I'm going to say Brendan Hartley. It was probably one of his best drives this season, and I was thoroughly impressed.
And now let's take a look at the constructors' standings. Ferrari moved to the top of the table. After all that excitement, it's time for a lie down, I think. Thanks for joining us, and goodbye until the next race.